Okay, so in this video, I'm just going to go over some ankle care, some rehab, prehab that we can do just to help keep your ankles strong and in working order. I've had 15 sprains, not even counting the tweaks, in my life, and they're pretty shot. So I feel it's actually really important. Before I go into it, I am a certified personal trainer, and I'm also a certified massage therapist. So these are all valid. I'm not just making these up. So to start, I'll give a few little videos, a few little a few little exercises, and then I'll go through some massage techniques. Okay, so let's go vertical. It might be a little bit easier to see. So firstly, we just do like one-legged calf raises. Now if you're finding these hard, you can just go very light with the other foot to give some balance. But it's better off to try and get the balance on the one leg. 3 sets of 10 is alright. So you want to actually try and get the balance in your tippy toes as much as possible, on the ball of your foot as much as possible. Okay, some other things you can do is skipping, or you can just bounce on the balls of your feet. And look, if you need a good skipping rope, you can talk to Kelly Hart. He's got a discount code with a place that he's coordinating with. He does a lot of skipping, so if you go to the 9 Club and you ask him, he's more than happy to help you out with the discount code of his. Skipping's really good. It's really good for the cardio as well. You can also do so they're called ice skaters. So it's like you're ice skating. So you're really dashing side to side. So what this does is basically does your lateral movements of your ankle. When you sprain your ankles, this muscle here that pops out, it's that one there. That normally is the one that gets sprained. You'll see a bruising around here and then along the bottom, sometimes the back. You can also get some sprains in the tendons along here, so that can be pretty bad. I'll show you some massage techniques for them afterwards. Some stretches you can do. If you have a step like this and you keep a bent knee, so I have a wall here, you can actually let it drop, then do little raises like this. That'll strengthen and stretch the ankle. So what that does is work what's called the soleus, which is this muscle here. This one's the gastrocnemius. This one that goes along is the soleus. You also got the tibia anterior, which is the front muscle. So that does a lot of the spring, the plantar flexion. So that also helps strengthen that. You can massage them by just letting your leg relax. And you actually get your knuckles, just strip down it. Where the muscle is along with the shin bone, you can strip down like that to separate it. You can use ice baths, but I'd use ice bath afterwards. If you're going to massage them afterwards, I'd do exercises before you do the massages. You get your thumb, you just work it, massage just around, starting from the top. You can actually feel it. Sometimes you can actually just pin in the spot and then just lift your heel and just let your thumb slide through. You'll feel some like gritty bits, some adhesions they're called, and that'll help break them up. You can do that all the way around your ankle. On the inside, which is called the medial, there's 4 tendons, and you do the same with them.
And you start from the malleolus, which is the ankle, and you'll feel it. The more you actually tilt it out, like tilt it in, so tilt your foot out, you can actually feel them pop out a little bit. You start from the bottom, the top, sorry, and just massage all the way in. Just do little circles all the way down to the bottom. And where it hurts, sort of stop and just work it a little bit. Sometimes your body will just want to do what it needs to do. And just slowly just like push until it doesn't hurt anymore. I'd actually work from the front to the back, but I'm working back to front today. I've actually massaged mine a fair bit because I'm recovering from a little tweak on this ankle. That's why support in shoes and ankle support, it's not for bashing your ankle protection. If you get shoes that actually strap up around here, you'll see like the bands in shoes, they're generally thicker when they come up in like this direction around the ankle. If they're not so low, they'll actually come up like a half cab, or like, you know, the Adidas Tyshawn mid or an S XL mid. Even the lows, you'll see they actually come up around here. They'll actually protect a lot of that muscle, this muscle that pops out here. So they'll actually protect that, and it'll tie that up, and it's force against that, so it won't over sprain. Okay, so you just grab it and you just do little circles. And you can just like, it's called stripping, where you just basically just use the point of your finger. So use the flat part. If you use more of the tip of the point of the finger, you can just hold it and just stretch and just push it in and just work it. Little circles all the way down. Do each one individually. You'll feel them. If you can't feel them, you can just put your finger, your thumb, like this. And you'll feel when you go like this, there's like a little hole. And then when you bend your foot out, you'll actually feel it pop into your finger. And then that's when you can start to work it a little bit more. So they're really good as well. Ice baths. Okay, another thing you can do is just like your lunges. Okay, so your lunges essentially, I'm pretty sure most people know what they are. A lunge is where you stand and you dip your knee as far down as possible. Try and just get it to touch. You'll feel the stretch. You'll feel a little bit more in your Achilles, but they're all relative. Excuse my dog. And another good one that you can do, if you've got weights, they're called farmer's walks. So it's basically loaded, meaning you get weights. I'll do it with 15s. So you get weights, straighten your lower back, push through your feet, and pull your shoulders back, and you just walk. So because you've got the weight, it'll actually help getting the stability on each foot. You don't need to do it one-footed, but as you're taking the step, you're going on 1 foot, right? So therefore you're getting the one side ankle stability. Even just one-footed balancing techniques, just standing on 1 foot, standing literally on the ball of your foot on 1 foot. So just try and hold it. That's really good for recovery. So say you've got something here, move these plants. So I've got something here I can balance on, right? So if I need to, I can just put my hand down. If you just stand there and balance, it's actually quite hard.
And the longer you can do that, your stabilizer muscles are going to kick in, and they're going to help with your balance. They're also going to help with the strength. So the reason why I like to wear no shoes isn't just because it's hot in Australia. It's basically because when you're letting your feet work without a stabilizer or without a shoe, your muscles, your body can interact with your muscles, you know, through just naturally, okay? It'll help fire its stabilizers. It can help feel what's going on, so it can fire whatever muscles. It can help it work more naturally. So walking on the grass, just walking in general, can not only help strengthen your muscles, but it can also, sorry, my animals are just wanting some attention. So it's good for what's called proprioception. So muscle to mind to muscle reaction, okay? So it really needs to sort of figure out what's going on. When there's something there tying your muscles up, it's hard for your brain to actually figure out what's going on with the rest of the muscles. So sometimes it can forget to interact properly and figure out what's actually happening. So your brain really needs to understand, okay, well, there's an injury, okay, there's an imbalance, there's something that I need to, there's stabilizers that I need to fire up that weren't firing before. So it really needs to figure all that kind of stuff out. So it's really good to actually let it do that. So, go for a walk and, walk around, even just the house, even just like sand, some sort of uneven ground. Like my yard's a little bit uneven. So even just like walking around on that, running around on it, doing some jumping sideways. Just be careful though. You don't always need a bandage when you're doing that kind of thing, but if you're going to be a lot more intensive with your exercises, so say you're going to play, football or something, or, throw a ball around, you're going to be running around, then maybe look at wearing some shoes and tying them up so you've got some support so you don't re-sprain or cause yourself another sprain. Stabilizers are great if you're recovering from a sprain and you want to play sport, especially skateboarding, because it'll stop that sprain, but you don't want to get too reliant on them, because if you become too reliant on them, your brain forgets it. Your brain kind of needs to know what it's doing. So it's like, oh no, there's nothing there. So then all of a sudden it'll become weak. It forgets how to use the muscles properly. So then you can actually get another sprain. So you want to actually keep on strengthening your muscles and whatnot. Yeah, sorry. So my dog's got like a toy. She wants attention. Yeah, so what was I saying? So your brain basically just needs to know what's going on. It needs to figure out its natural movements again. It needs to know how to act when, how to fire the stabilizers, that they're there to stabilize so they don't become lazy. So band work, even wrapping like a band around, say like a pole like that, and then do some work like, if you get the tension, this might not work because the dog's in the way, she's wanting attention bad. So let's say hypothetically this you've got a band against the pole. I'll just sit down because she's going to be a bit nuts. So say you've got a band against the pole. Here. I am going to get a proper vlogging kit, so these are going to get better. So say you've got a band against the pole. Say this is a pole, something sturdy, and you wrap it around. It can be an old tire tube. You can get TheraBands. You can buy them on eBay, and you wrap it around. You get the tension. And you'll, let your foot be at full range of motion, the opposite way of the way you want to move it, or they don't. And you just really gently just work ankle this way, and you keep the tension on it. You work it this way, and that'll work the inside ones, and vice versa. So if you've got a pole coming this way, you wrap it around, and then you just work it out this way, and that'll strengthen these muscles on the outside of the ankle as well.
as well as the other exercises. They'll help rehab and prehab and keep your ankles strong, which should actually, bring all the stability back, the strength back, and hopefully will lessen the sprains as much as possible, or any sort of injuries. Even if you don't sprain your ankles, they're pretty good to do, because it'll just make them stronger and just make them more capable of dealing with the impact and the movements that you do in skateboarding. Because when you land and you get like a jolt like this, it's not natural unless you're actually doing a lot of sideways movements, which is what like the ice skater is really good for. So not only is it good cardio, it's good just to strengthen those muscles and actually get them used to that kind of work. So then if it does come into a little jolt, say you're landing a trick off stairs or something, you miss the board and you get like a little tweak, it doesn't just sprain straight away. And if you've got a pre-injury, it's only just going to happen again and again and again. It's just going to get worse and worse and worse. So the idea is to minimize that by doing these prehab rehab exercises. So I actually do them a lot, pretty much every night, because my ankles are pretty bad. I might not do them every night, I'll give them a little break every now and again, but sometimes I'll do them at least once a week. In between skates is good. You can do a lot more of them on your days off skating or at night, and then afterwards ice bath them, which what that does, it stops the blood going into them and then it lets it heal without the blood. When you want to warm up, you can do the jumps just on the balls of your feet, and then little ice skaters. You can run and do like run, touch, run sideways, touch, and then touch the ground and just get the get the ankle movements going, and getting them warmed up, that gets the blood into the muscle and gets it prepped. You can do like tuck jumps as well to start that, and that'll also help you jumping with skateboarding. So my animals just really love me, by the way. So you can bounce, 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 down, all the way up, bounce, 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 down, all the way up, and that'll help you jump and get your body used to that movement and help get it limber. If you want to stretch like the inside of your muscles, just do like your little side lunges. That'll help you stretch your adductors, which are on the inside of your thighs, in here. Essentially they're probably the best exercise to do. I do them a lot more intensely when you're not skateboarding, and then when you are, just a few reps of just the last ones that we just did. But they should actually help keep your ankles from getting injuries. I'm not going to say they won't get injuries, but it should help prevent them as much as possible. It should keep them strong. If you need some good braces, there's Etc. Project. They make some good ankle braces. There's ones called BioLock. They're pretty good as well. I skate in the Etc. ones because they enable me to skate with an ankle stabilizer, but I only really use them if I'm worried, or if I've like come out of an ankle sprain or tweak. So I actually use them a lot of the time, but sometimes I use like another pair of shoes which I can actually strap up really, really tight, and that helps my brain understand what's going on with the muscles in my ankles. And because it feels a little bit more natural, because there's nothing there to actually help block what's happening, I can actually get the movement a lot better in my ankles. So it just feels a little bit more natural. It's just that there's a paranoia there sometimes because there's nothing there to actually minimize that sprain whatsoever. It's like, well, okay, there might be a sprain coming. So that's why I normally use like a pretty strong shoe, like maybe Vans high top or the Tyshawn mids are really, really good, I've found, for when I don't want to use stabilizers. I actually do them up quite tight, and I lace them up all the way to the top, because it actually protects my ankles a lot with those shoes, and I can wear them without stabilizers. They're very padded, so I can't even really fit a stabilizer in there. But if I'm to wear a shoe with a stabilizer, I'll probably wear an XL mid. For me, I find that sometimes shoes will actually slip a tiny bit, stretch a tiny bit as they wear.
So that leaves room for that movement, so it stops that whole compression around those muscles around the ankles, to actually stop the sprains. We're humans, unfortunately these injuries are just going to happen regardless, so it's just one of those things. There's the Lakai Proto I've found is pretty good as well. A lot of those, some shoes I find they come really close up towards, I'll show you. I've actually got some pairs inside, but I'm going to do another video on shoes going through all this. But some of them actually come close at the top. So then when you tie, you've only really got like so much room. And then when they stretch, like, you know, it just leaves more room for the sprain to happen, I find. But I like mine quite tight up around that area just because I don't really want to sprain my ankles as much as possible. So I just yank them really tight so it doesn't happen. My cat just wants to say hi. It's only because I'm outside not giving her attention. But yeah, I just yank them really tight because I don't want a sprain to happen again. So once again, like, I'll just use stabilizers with those shoes. Generally I'll wear my Excel mids and I'll wear a stabilizer. Sometimes when my ankle's feeling really good, I just want to see how it's going. I'm going for a light skate or something, or I just really want to try and get used to not wearing a stabilizer because I don't really want to always have to rely on them, because then once you do, you kind of always have to wear them, and when you always have to wear them, then you're basically just stopping those stabilizers from firing and working. So at the moment, when I'm skating without a stabilizer, I'll wear the Tyshawn mids from Adidas, because I don't know, they just seem to be really good like that. They've got like a nice cushioning, good support on the bottom of the foot, which really helps as well. It's not so much board feel. I mean, you get used to that. It's not that much. Like, the thinner shoes don't really seem to affect anything, I don't find. It's more, the reason why I don't wear a low cut shoe or any of those really thin shoes like the slippers is because there's no actual support through the ankle. Like, you know, you're basically just wearing bare feet, and if you're going to roll your foot and there's like a, you know, a Volks sole that's really like twisty and really floppy, sure, it's good straight out the box, and that's good if you know, you're going to do like a demo or something, you need something that's fully broken in straight away. But as far as longevity, I'd actually rather something like a cup sole that's really sturdy, and then just break it in. You can just wear them round for a week, just like casually, and they'll break in very quick, and they'll be just as, like, you know, they'll feel just as loose as a as a vulcanized sole, but they'll give you support. And with those, with the Tyshawn's, they're good for impact because they've got cushioning on the sole. They've got like a lot of suede to get through before you can like flip through them. It'll take you like months and months, and the way that they tie up is perfect around these ankles, and then with the extra holes back, I'm probably the only person that actually pulls the laces all the way through them and just yanks it tight. But I mean, I feel really strong. My ankles feel really strong in them because they give a lot of support in that respect. So at the moment, my probably preferred shoes would be a half cab, the Lakai Proto, and the Excel mid. I'll generally wear some sort of stabilizer with them. If I'm to not wear a shoe with a stabilizer, I can actually wear the Vans Skate High as well, but they come really close up towards the top, and so when they stretch a little bit, I tend to have to wear like another pair of socks or something, which can cause some slippage in between the two pairs of socks. But they do actually protect you from sprains quite well. But yeah, the Tyshawn mids just seem to really support that ankle really good. I've had times where I've done like a tray flip, landed on the nose, and my ankles just come down on my foot's just landed on an ankle on an angle, and I felt the force, and my foot's just been like, oh, it's nothing. Like, the shoe's just not gonna. I'll step away because there's just that much ankle support. So I'll literally just be landing on an angle, but because there's so much support around there, you just kind of step away rather than the movement and the body weight pushing it over and then causing another sprain. So there you go. I hope those ankle exercises help. Do them as much as you want. I mean, the stronger your ankles are, then the less they have a chance of rolling, and ankle sprains don't really feel too good. So the last thing you want to do is to keep them happening. Because yeah, if ankle rolls keep happening, then it really just debilitates not only your confidence, but it sort of really stops your skating. It puts you out for a few weeks. And all you're going to have to do is keep rehabilitating them and rehabilitating and rehabilitating them, and you're just not going to want to skate anymore. It becomes no fun. I almost gave up because of mine. I actually just pulled out some shoes. So I'll show you. I'll just put it on one foot. I'll tie them up each and I'll show you exactly what I'm talking about. I will do a proper review. Going through all of these. So I'll pull these all out. So these are the S. So this is a bit of suede up around here, and you'll see that actually comes up around this part of the ankle. It's also in the lows, but you use your Jordan clip on this. I don't know why. The Jordan 6 is just... So you can see how they come really, really tight towards the top. And then if I'm to do that, there's like literally like just a finger, a little index finger in between. And then I'll just let my ankle flex so much. They're very solid around the heel here, around there. But because they're low, you tend to not want to roll your ankle as much. When a shoe's higher, it's because your body can't feel it so close to the ground. Sometimes that's what sort of helps minimize sprains. So there's them. So these are actually really good, but I'll tend to wear these with a stabilizer just out of, precaution basically. And these are actually a really good shoe, and they do help just because it's got the padding here, it stretches and pulls around, and this band comes up around that muscle that I was explaining before. This one here, it's actually this muscle here. You can see it pop out, just like there. This one right here, that's the one that tweaks. So yeah, they help support that way. So the Taichans, as you can see, I use both holes at the top. Most people don't tie them up this high. That's actually what they're for. Your foot actually comes down to here. So all this is a sidewall, which will actually support the side movement, the lateral movement of your foot. They've got an arch support, they've got cushioning. It really sinks your heel into the shoe. When I do them up, I actually do them up quite tight around here, and then pull up so you can see how much lace I've got already. Shoes aren't always there for trends. These are actually created for performance. So there, I mean, that's the edge of the shoe right there. So there's what, 2 inches in between that. And eventually it can stretch. I can just yank tight. So I've got another, so from that, 1, 2, 3, 4. So now I've got another couple of fingers I can go, and that's as far as my foot will roll. Because you've got all this sidewall here. That's why this wave is here. You know, there's a Vulcan side and there's cup sole, but I'm not sure if you can see. If your foot is to roll, the sole is actually pretty low. So like, little toe runs along here, and that's the bottom of my foot, just along there. So all this extra rubber and cup sole is to stop the lateral movement from letting your foot tilt over so you don't get a sprain. Tying up here is literally like that muscle that rolls is literally here. So I'll do a muscle that
pulls when it rolls is like literally here, and like it's just not going to. It's just not going to. And you've got the arch support as well, so it pulls up. This part pulls up around here, linked to this lace. So when you actually pull them tight, you've got so much support around those ankles, which stop all those tendons from, you know, getting destroyed if you're going to tweak them. I'm sure if you were to really try or to do big stuff, or you know, go like gung ho, or if you hit it on the wrong angle, land down some stairs and ledges, it's almost inevitable. It's sometimes going to happen. Now, if you're going to break your ankle, you're going to break your ankle. There's only so much a shoe can do. But preventive wise, I mean, these two are probably the best on the market. I've worn these with like no shoes before. I've done a freestyle trick. It was just like a little tail pressure flip thing. I've landed like this, but because I've had them tied up, it was only a tiny tweak. So these two are probably the best on the market, the Excel Slim and the tie short mids. For ankle protection, the half cabs as well. They're the same, pretty much, same sort of design. So yeah, I mean, they're my 3 recommendations for shoes, but I'll go into them a lot more thoroughly in another video. So yeah, look after your ankles and enjoy skating.